so that we can't celebrate. We should be celebrating IU's second victory over Purdue this year. Unless you're a Purdue fan. Well, even if the thing is, IU hasn't beaten Purdue twice in what, 10 years?
I think that's right. Yeah.
You need to show me what you did to mute the sound so that we're not here and I have to do things.
Okay,
I know what you did.
so now it's not doing it.
Yeah, the only thing I know to do is to mute her, and then that's
Now
not.
lean forward and see what happens.
Well, it's gonna go to me, man.
I know, but it needs, I want to see.
I do not know why it'll pick up voices and singing and not the piano. That is so weird. Wonder if it would pick up the keyboard,
Well, I was wondering that too. It has to,
but it has to be plugged in,
yeah,
doesn't
it
it?
has to be plugged in somewhere and.
Well, it has to be plugged into the power cord.
I thought my chair was going.
Uh-oh.
Fran, did you talk about Al Tech support this past week and learn anything from
Yeah.
them?
I checked with them and they couldn't figure it out either, said it should work. So that's what I'm thinking, if it got jostled or something during the move, when they took everything out of here and stuck it in storage, it maybe they weren't very careful with it. But it works fine for voices.
Do
Lynn's
they-
gonna see how it works on the electric keyboard. I just can't imagine. Because we never had any trouble until they removed the carpet and but then, and when the thing got moved.
Do they have a repair service?
I don't know, I'll have to check and see. I didn't check that.
Okay, no, I can't place something upside down here, but.
Did you hear that?
Nope.
Playing with the keyboard.
So,
See,
same thing.
It's music of some sort it doesn't like.
Yeah, something that,
Totally bizarre.
well, I'll check with them again.
We could all sing with the piano and the people will go, wow,
Oh, no.
they
I
can
don't
really
think so.
sing a cappella well.
Oh, wow. Everybody can sing that.
He said, so he's there.
They say, oh, well, all right.
Well, yeah,
A little different sort.
yeah, they're really not very good.
And what Norma gonna do? Well, apparently we don't have any beginning and ending music today.
Well, she can
Or
still
she can
play the
play-
music and
We can
s-
enjoy it.
We can enjoy it.
Yeah.
We can announce what's being played.
So what are you saying? I should or should not?
Sure, play music when it's time.
Say yes.
Sure. Why not? You practiced. The rest will just be silent friends.
Okay.
Well, Norma's gonna play. And you all will have some center. And then we'll do joys and concerns and all that. And if somebody wants to pray for the owl to be healed, that would be fine too.
I wonder, did he meet everybody?
He did earlier. We're not muted.
I know.
Did you hear what Norma said? The piece she's playing is teach me to stop and listen.
That's not the toughest team today.
So welcome, everyone. Are there announcements? I can't think of any. We do have Sunday school this morning on another obscure set of Bible verses. One I don't think I've ever heard anybody teach a lesson about the daughters of whatever his real name is, unpronounceable. And them not getting property because he died and they aren't sons. So it's kind of interesting piece to look at. Nancy said, it sounds like a farm family.
I did not.
So joys or concerns to share? I had the joy of running into Norma at Kroger's. That was, I looked over and I thought, I recognize that walk. It was Norma.
He didn't actually run into me. He
No.
saw me.
Yes, I saw her. Yeah, I could have, but I didn't run into her.
My nephew in Greenfield, he's about 11 months and 3 weeks older than me, has been diagnosed with bladder cancer. He's got 2 different types and he's had surgery, and that's the latest I know. It's Mike Bailey. Probably the only one there that would know who that is Steve and Norma. The other thing is this week I got to, I've volunteered at the Goodwin Center to supply transportation. And I met a fellow Wednesday. Poor guy's in pretty bad shape and he could use our prayers. His name is Bill Holben, and he's got Parkinson's and just has to have help to just literally stand up. So if we could keep those people in our prayers, I would appreciate it.
Well, if everybody could put themselves on mute, we'll go into some centering silence. Chip is the worship leader this morning, so he'll speak as led out of the silence.
Good morning, friends. Well, tomorrow would have been Dame Elizabeth Taylor's 91st birthday. So my message for today is called Everything You Wanted to Know About Elizabeth Taylor, but Were Afraid to Ask. Bazinga. Yes, her birthday is tomorrow, but that is not going to be my message. Sorry, I just couldn't help myself. When I started working on my message for today, I wasn't sure which way to go. I had several things I wanted to talk about. I worried about offending or upsetting friends. I gave it some thought and talked with God and asked for a movie. Now, for those who don't know me, I made an agreement with God. I said, if you will sit at the end of my sofa and allow me to talk calmly to you. In the past, I did a lot of yelling and looking up. And in return, God would send me movies that I could use for messages. I know that sounds crazy, but it seems to be working. And once again, he came through. On Sunday nights, my grandson comes over and we take turns picking out movies that we think the other one might enjoy. Now, Drake and I both enjoy a good murder mystery. We both try and discover the murderer before someone in the movie does. I picked the movie Grand Central Murder for us to watch. Grand Central Murder is a comedy mystery movie released in 1942. It is based on a 1939 novel of the same name. And it stars Van Heflin as a private investigator who, along with his beautiful wife, Virginia Gray, try to solve the murders. But they are also two suspects. And the movie takes place in Grand Central Station. There it was, my message. It was all about greed. No one of the topics I was thinking about. So you ask yourself, what does a murder movie have to do with greed? Well, I'll explain. This classic whodunit mystery is about a gold-digging variety show actress. That's a nice way of saying that she worked in burlesque, who has many enemies. She is found dead in a private railroad car in Grand Central Station in New York City. Her stage name was Maida King. She chose that name because of the story of King Midas, who turned everything he touched to gold. Now, everything that was given to Maida by her gentleman callers, like jewels and furs, she sold. It wasn't gold, but she had a lot of money. Now, I'm not giving away anything about the movie as she's murdered right at the start. Okay, back to my message. I started thinking about the message for today after we had a rather upsetting Sunday school lesson. It was all about this guy that made a promise to God that if he came back from his war unhurt, triumphant, with lots of wealth, he would do a burnt offering at whatever greeted him when he first came home. Now, I'm sure we all made agreements with God, like, help me through this matter and I'll be a kinder person, or help me pass this test and I really will study harder for the next one. And of course mine, I'll stop yelling at you if you send me movies. You get the point. But I'm sure you never said, help me live through this war and when I come back, I'm gonna kill the first thing that greets me. Back to the movies for a minute. Think about this. What if Ashley Wilkes would have said that and he came home from the Civil War in Gone with the Wind? He would have killed Melanie right there in front of Scarlett and Mammy Atera. My point being that no one in their right mind would make that pledge unless they were totally overcome with greed. I'm sure happy none of the soldiers coming back from the World War II didn't make that kind of promise, because my mother sure greeted a lot of them by kissing them when they got off the train. She just felt it was her duty. Well, this guy in the Bible made a promise to God. Now, please note, God had no part of this promise. And are you ready for this? This guy's daughter runs to him, and after he tells her what he's done, she goes along with it. Now, you can't make this kind of stuff up. So you can find this story in the Bible, Judges 29-40. The Bible says a lot of things about greed. My favorite one is from Mark 8:36. For what does it profit man to gain the world and forfeit his soul? The Bible says greed is a sin. Greed is the want or desire to have more of something. Normally, people can be greedy with money or possessions. Greedy people are never happy with what they have. They always want more and more. There is a year-long war going on in Ukraine, and it has all been caused by greed. Putin wants more land, and he doesn't care who dies to get it. This brings me back to a couple of movies. I remember watching the original All Quiet on the Western Front, made in 1930 and based on the novel published in 1929. It was sad and moved me to do a message about peace. Well, this week I watched the newest version, made in 2022 and up for Best Picture of the Year. I didn't find it so sad but it was unsettling and disturbing. It shows the total mess the war really is, not so much with the graphics and in living color, but the idea that it's better to die a hero than come back a loser. I found the first film has a better storyline and more a buildup of the guys getting ready for war, but I would recommend both. There was a major earthquake in Turkey, and a lot of people died. Yes, they died due to the earthquake, but buildings the people were living in were not built up to code. Some big company and or contractors took shortcuts to make more money. So in fact, they died because of greed. Recently, there was a train derailment in Ohio. The train was too long, weighed too much, and the heavy cars were not in front of the train. Why? Because of greed. The powers to be in DC got legislation passed so trains could be longer, weight didn't matter, and when the train derailed, it wasn't in any of their backyards. It was in the backyards of middle-class America, in the backyards of hardworking people that may have lost everything. I know these people were told it was okay to go back home, drink the water, and not be worried about anything. I remember when the airport near me dumped water from a pond that was used for runoff when they washed airplanes. The unclean water was let into the creek that runs in front of my home and in the city park. I called for help and someone from the city came out, checked the water, and I was told it was fine. I just needed to let the city know if the fish started to die. What fish? The fish were all gone. The turtles had left the creek and were crawling up toward my house. Birds had gone away. They couldn't deal with the smell or something. The creek had black water and they thought it was safe for kids to play in. Someone called the EPA and the newspaper. Both interviewed me. There was an article in the paper with one of my pictures of the creek on the front page. And for those people in Ohio should keep in mind, keep digging until they find someone that can help them. I'm sure the water is not safe to drink or play in. Moving on. We live in the richest country in the world, and many people don't have health care. Not just health care, but people can't afford their meds. Well, they could if they didn't have to eat or pay rent. That's just not right. And brings us up to greed of the pharmacy industry. Funny, you can go to Canada and get the same meds we have here for less money. More greed. And let's not forget about that guy that they say killed his wife and son to try to hide his greedy stealing of other people's money. The gap between the rich and the middle class just keeps growing. Why? Because of greed. Some people live from paycheck to paycheck, and if they miss a couple of paychecks, they can become homeless. We see people living on the streets, and we may think they're nutty or have a drug problem. That isn't necessarily the case. Some people get sick, go to the hospital, and end up losing everything. Someone's home might burn down, and they weren't able to have insurance, so they have nowhere to go. My friend Mike always used to say, you show me a will and I'll show you a greedy relative. And I tell you this firsthand, that is true. Fighting over money that isn't yours, feeling you need a cut of that when you weren't even around to take care of a sick person, or coming out of the woodwork from nowhere to just see if you can get something. Believe me, it tears families apart. It's all greed. Well, that's the end of my message. I hope my next one is more upbeat. As we go into our quiet time, let's think about these people that are hurt by greed and keep them in our prayers. May the light of God surround you. May the love of God enfold you. May the power of God protect you. And may the presence of God watch over you, for wherever you are, God is.
As Chip was talking, I was remembering John Woolman's statement about we should seek or check our possessions and see if the seeds of war are in any of them. But I never thought about, should I check our possessions and see if the seeds of greed are any of them? I don't think I'm a greedy person, and yet this week I got a huge box of books in the mail because I'd done a favor for a publisher and they said I could have my selection of books up to $200 that they published. And it's like, so I joyfully went through their calendar and, I mean, their catalog and picked this book and that book. And Nancy doesn't like one of them. It's the 1,300 dumbest things ever said. I find it kind of humorous, but
I did that count.
But as I was thinking about it, it's like, now here I am getting rid of books because I have too many. And yet with the chance to get more, I leapt at it. And so maybe Prophet, Chip, you've said words that I needed to hear and wish I didn't. Maybe I am just a bit too greedy for my own good.
Thanks for the excellent message, Chip. It reminds us of the need for balance in life between the outer world, which is not good right now, and our inner spiritual life, which is always possibly good and at least neutral. So greed is mostly from the outer world, which right now we're inundated by a cacophony of news about negative things that are going on in the world and in our communities. And we neglect our inner spiritual life, which has very little to do with greed, we hope. And yet greed can enter our lives very subtly without us even thinking about it very much. So Chip, I thought that was an excellent message. I wouldn't worry about their messages always being uplifting. I think it's well to have messages that are prophetic and profound as well.
The piece that I'm going to play, which you probably won't hear, is Open My Eyes. And it starts off by saying, open my eyes that I may see glimpses of truth thou hast for me.
We'll now continue with our unprogrammed worship. You know, though, there are those who need to leave, so blessings on you. If you can make it back to Sunday school, that'll be at 10:35. Otherwise, we hope to see you next week. Well, if all hearts are clear, we'll close meeting for worship this morning.
Good to see you, Jonathan. Missed you last week.
Good to see you.
Well, we'll reconvene at 10:35 for those who want to talk about those 5 daughters who were gonna get chipped out of their inheritance. So, okay. See you in a while. Bye.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.